Okay, so let's start discussing about Hadoop distributed file system commands. Hadoop distributed file system commands. See this one. Give me some time. See, just say that this is what name node, data node, task tracker, data node, task tracker, data node, task tracker, data node, and task tracker. Basically, where we are keeping actual data in data nodes. Okay. So here we are having generally actual storage capacity, right? But here we are keeping metadata. It is just trying to keep that metadata for the blocks which we are storing in different data nodes. For the blocks which we are keeping in different data nodes. These are all what local file system. Okay, this data node is what local file system is having. This data node is also having local file system. This is also having local file system. But here, this name node can share its file system metadata to what? Its file system metadata to all your local machines as well as even for any clients also. So if name node is also what? It's a file system, right? So in this file system it is keeping that metadata with some files and directories. As this file system is sharing this metadata from its file system to other local file systems or for other clients, we can say that this is what? Distributed file system, because it is distributing its metadata from its file system. So that we are calling it as what? Distributed file system. Similar to say what distributed file system it is. Hadoop distributed file system it is. So now we are going to see those file system commands. Hadoop distributed file system commands. Already we have seen local file system commands, right? Now we are going to see Hadoop distributed file system commands. Sir, why we need to have this? Just say that if I am keeping 200 MB of data, from this data node, so generally to whom this data node should contact? To name node. So automatically your 200 MB of data will be kept in what? Different data nodes. Once it is going to be kept in different data nodes. So some other day, if I wanted to check what are all the blocks are there in different data nodes for my file, to whom I have to contact? Generally I have to see, I have to contact that name node and I have to see that metadata of that file. So that it is just trying to display what are all the blocks are there in different data nodes. Right or wrong? So if I wanted to talk to this name node, do I need to access this HDFS or not? Definitely you have to access that HDFS. How to access HDFS? That can be done with these commands. Now see, first command. So generally where we are giving these commands also, I told you already, here you will be having one terminal. In data node, you will be having one terminal, local file system terminal. So in that terminal itself, we are going to give these commands. Hadoop space fs and enter button. Hadoop space fs enter button. Hadoop space fs enter button. I'll tell you. So Hadoop space fs, if you are giving enter button, it will display plenty of commands which we can work with that Hadoop distributed file system. So generally you are giving Java enter button, right? Means what? You are just trying to check whether that Java is running or not. Means what? It is showing you Java C, Java P, Java WR, so things, right? Means what? If you are giving that one, it is getting plenty of commands which we can work with that Java. So here also, if you are going to give Hadoop space fs, it is just trying to display plenty of commands which we can work with its HDFS. Okay, see this one. I'm going to give Hadoop space fs space -ls. Hadoop space fs space -ls. So why we are giving this -ls? Yes, it is just trying to display all your metadata. Simply to say from your file system. Which file system it is? Hadoop distributed file system it is. Okay, it is just trying to display all your metadata. Got it? So we have already seen, right? What is the importance of if I am giving ls here, what will be displayed? all files and directories from this present working directory. From this present working directory means what? Training, right? So how it is just trying to display all your files and directories from this present working directory. Here also if you are going to give Hadoop space fs space -ls, Hadoop space fs means, so this command also you are giving under local file system terminal itself. In data node terminal itself you are giving this one also. But if you are giving this one, as you are giving Hadoop space fs, your local file system can understand that you are not accessing local file system, you are accessing Hadoop distributed file system. Because of this Hadoop space fs, it can understand that you are not accessing local file system, you are accessing Hadoop distributed file system. So it is just trying to display all your files and directories from your Hadoop distributed file system. So what is that default location in your Hadoop distributed file system? You know, user slash and that username. Okay, just say that username. Okay, username slash user slash username slash user slash username. That username can be anything. That username can be what? Anything. Any name. Generally when we are booting that CentOS or Ubuntu, there itself it is asking you to enter some username, full name as well as password, confirm password, something that. So whatever the username that you are providing there, same username will be taken even for your HDFS also. That username only here. Okay, got it? I'll show you that one practically, don't worry. Okay, so when this -ls can be used? When you are working with single system. If we can work with pseudo distribution mode or what? Single node cluster. Means what? When can we say that our node is what? Single node cluster? Right. If you can run all these services, 5 services, name node, secondary name node, job tracker, task tracker and data node. If you can run 5 services in a single machine, then we can say that it is what? Single node cluster. In single node cluster, if you wanted to see that metadata, you can happily give Hadoop space fs space -ls, so that it will display that metadata. If suppose if it is multi-node cluster, just say that if it is multi-node cluster, then you have to say this one, space hdfs colon 2 forward slashes, okay, host name slash user slash username. I'll give slash username slash username slash username. So when we have to give this one? Yes, if it is what? Multi-node cluster. If your name node is somewhere else, your data node is somewhere else, if I wanted to see that metadata, I have to give that host name, right? IP address or something that it is having. So I have to give that hdfs colon 2 forward slash localhost. I mean, if it is under your machine itself, then you can give localhost. If it is under some other machine, then you can give that host name or IP address of that system, as well as user and what? Username. So that it is just trying to display all your files and directories directly from this username. Okay. So by default, if you can keep anything, you can keep anything in that HDFS, that will be directly stored in what? Username itself. Directly stored in what? Under user and username. Just as that username may be yours, that we cannot say. Sometimes it can be training, sometimes it can be some other name, whatever it may be. I told you already, right? When you are booting that system, you are giving some username. That username only one, this username. Okay. Next, can we create file? Can we create directory? Okay, we can create directory. So creating directories, because of that there is no problem, right or wrong? Because directories will never have any more data. Files only will have securable data, right? So we can happily create directory. But while we are creating files, we have to just think it of whether it is so right way of creating that file or not. Okay, so we can happily create directory. Hadoop space fs space hyphen mkdir space some directory name I am giving. So exactly here, same commands which we are using in our local file system, same command also, here also we are using those same commands only. But the only difference is what? Here it is giving hyphen or minus, you can say that, anything. Okay, you can say something like either minus or hyphen. Okay, so if I wanted to create any directory, I have to give mkdir here. But before this, I have to give Hadoop space fs. Why we are giving Hadoop space fs? Where you wanted to keep that directory in HDFS, right? Hadoop distributed file system, right or not? So simply to say here, if you wanted to access HDFS, means what? If you wanted to work with HDFS, it is mandatory to give Hadoop space FS. Otherwise, your local file system cannot talk to that HDFS. It is highly recommended to work with this Hadoop space FS. This command is fixed. Then you can give other commands. Okay. Now, can we create file? Can we create file? No. We cannot create file directly in what? HDFS. Directly in HDFS we cannot create any more file. If you wanted to create any file, you have to create that in your local machine itself. You have to put that file into HDFS. Already I have given you some solution that how to create table, file. What are all the ways? Cat command we can use, VA8 we can use, or else cat double greater than also we can use, and touch command also we can use. Cat greater than file name or cat double greater than file name. Next VA8 or touch command. So either of them you can use for creating table in your local file system. So once after creating your file with those techniques, next you can keep that file into directly HDFS. Just say that I have created some file and its size is 200 MB here. Now I am putting that file into HDFS. So that your file is going to be split into number of 64 MB blocks, because default size of HDFS is what? Default block size of HDFS is what? 64 MB. So here how to keep that file? Sir, we know very well that how to create file, but how to keep that file into HDFS? Very, very simple. You can happily give what? Hadoop space FS space -put space source space destination, space source space destination, -put space source space destination. So what is this source here? Is it local file system or HDFS file system? Local file system. What is this destination? HDFS. Okay, so you should not forget that. -put source or destination. Got it? Next, I'll give either -put I can give, or else I can even give what? -copy from local. -copy from local also you can use. Small c, capital F, capital L. Case sensitive commands, these are all. You have to note down very carefully. Okay, either of them I can use. One more technique is also there. I can use -move from local. Move from local. -move from local. -move from local. Hadoop space FS space -put space source destination. If source is a file, just say that. If source is a file, destination can be a file, it can be a directory. If source is a directory, then destination should be a directory. If source is a file, then it should be, it can be a file, it can be a directory. But if that source is a directory, then it should be a directory. That destination is what? It should be a directory. Okay. So you can either of these commands you can use happily. If you are giving put, copy and paste will be done. If you are giving -copy from local, for that also source file will be there in your source location, as well as destination location also that file will be there. So -move from local means what? Cut and paste. Your source file will not be there after putting that file into what? Destination location. Okay. Next, one more command is there. Sir, we are keeping our file into HDFS by using -put. But if I wanted to get that same file from HDFS back to our local machine, what I have to do? Nothing is there. Very, very easy. You can use -get space source space destination. Okay, space source space destination. Hadoop space FS space -get space source space destination. Now can somebody say what is source here? What is source here? HDFS. You are getting file right from HDFS back to our local machine. Means what? Source it means HDFS file system. Destination means local file system. Got it? Okay. Now as well as you can even use -copy to local. You can even use what? -copy to local. Next, you can even use -move to local. -move to local. You can happily use Hadoop space FS space -get space source space destination hyphen get, hyphen copy from local, or else hyphen move to local. Either of them you can use. So you know very well, these two will be working out in the same way. These two means copy and paste, but here it is what? Cut and paste. Okay. Next, just say that I have kept some file in HDFS. Can I see that content of the file? I can happily see that one. Sir, why can't we create file directly in HDFS? You know, I told you already, writing data directly is not possible in your HDFS. If at all, if you wanted to do that, you have to do that by using, you know, local file system commands. You have to create that file in your local file system and you have to keep that file into HDFS. But once after keeping that file into HDFS, you can happily see that content of the file. So how to see the content of the file generally in our local file system terminal? By using cat command, right? So here also I'll use Hadoop space fs space hyphen cat Hadoop space fs space hyphen cat space file name Hadoop space fs space hyphen cat space file name. Means what? It is just trying to display its file content from HDFS. Okay. So when this is actually, when you are working with single node cluster, mean what? Single mission. When you are working with all these services in a single mission. But if you wanted to work with, if you are working with what? Multi-node missions, then here we have to give that path HDFS:2 forward slashes, some host name, user and training we have to give. So everything we have to give over there specifically. Next, how to remove files and how to remove directories. Generally, how to remove files in our local file system? By using RM. So here also what? Hadoop space fs space hyphen rm space.
This is command for what, sir? If you don't mind.
This one for removing file. Yeah. So for removing file from HDFS. For removing file from HDFS. Next, Hadoop space fs space hyphen rmr space directory name for removing directory. Generally there we are using rm space hyphen r, right? In local file system for removing directory we are using rm space hyphen r, or else rm space hyphen rf, forcibly and recursively we are removing. But here it is what? Hyphen rmr directly. Hyphen rmr space that directory name you can give happily. The directory name you can give. Hyphen rmr space that directory name you can give happily. Done. Next, how to copy files from one location to another location. How to copy files? Come on. Hadoop space fs. Come on, you have to give those commands. Nothing is there. Very, very easy. So as you wanted to work with that HDFS, you have to definitely give Hadoop space fs. So if I wanted to copy files, I have to give cp. Means what? Hyphen cp space source and destination. If source is a file, destination can be a file or it can be a directory. If source is a directory, then it should be a directory. Destination should be what? A directory. Okay. Next. So what it is? Hadoop space fs space hyphen cp source and what? Destination. Next, one more is it? Source, destination. Source and what? Destination. Next, how to move files from one location to another location? Yes, you have to just say what? For moving your files from one location to another location, you have to say what? Hyphen mv. You have to say what? Hyphen mv. Hyphen mv. Hadoop space fs space hyphen mv space source and what? Destination. So what is the source here now? What is the source now? Which file it is? Local file system file or HDFS file it is? Yes, it is what? HDFS file. This one? HDFS only. Both will be in HDFS only. In HDFS itself we are copying your files from one location to another location, as well as you are moving files from one location to another location. Only in HDFS. There is no link up with what? Local file system here. Next, another one is what? hyphen du for displaying the disk usage. I mean, I'm giving some file here, file name here, means what it is giving, how much space this file has occupied in your disk will be displayed here. Disk usage of this file,
This will be written as hyphen DN.
hyphen du, disk usage. Another one is that Hadoop space fs space hyphen set rep means what, setting number of replications. By default, how many number of replications will be there? 3. So if you want, you can make it more, if you want, you can make it less. For what, sir? So here you can make it as what, hyphen set rep. I'll give some number here for this file name. Means what, for this file I just wanted to give number of replications only for that file only, not for all files in your HDFS. Only just for that file I am giving this many number of replications. Okay, hyphen set rep, setting number of replications, hyphen set rep, setting number of replications, hyphen set rep. But by default it is 3. By default it is 3. Now if you want, you can make it as what, more or less also by using this hyphen set rep only for this file, not for all your extra copy. Okay, it's a redundant data, simply it is a backup. Okay, clear up to this? Okay, these are all what basic commands in this HDFS. Most probably we are going to work with these commands only. If anything else is there, we will see them while we are doing practicals. Okay, each and everything will be there with more practicality. Okay, in regular class itself we will see all those things. Okay.